Hi, Shep Hyken here, and I am excited that we are going to do another customer service hangout. And what I'm most excited about is what we're going to talk about and who we're going to talk about it with. Today, we have a great person to hang out with. It is Elad Hoffman, and he is with NICE, which we'll get to what NICE does. Isn't that a great name, NICE? I just love that name, especially because it's so customer focused. But let's go ahead and introduce Elad, and why don't you go ahead, Elad, and tell us who you are, what you do, and tell us a little bit about NICE.
Hi. Hello, Shep. Thank you very much. Good morning to everyone in the U.S. Good afternoon if you're somewhere else. My name is Elad Hoffman from NICE Systems. I've been with NICE for the last 6.5 years. I'm a solution manager, and as the name attests, my goal in life is to find customer service problems and try to improve their experience and the way we do things today. NICE Systems in generally is doing everything which is related to call centers. Most of you may have heard when you pick up the phone and call to your ISP provider, bank, financial institution, insurance company, etc. You may have heard the opening statement. This call may be recorded and monitored for quality purposes, right? So this is what we do. This is NICE. We are the brains behind this message. We record the calls, we analyze them, we can extract amazing business insights from those conversations and help our customers, all those institutions, to find out what is their customers' pain points, what can be improved in their transaction, during the negotiation, during the service handling. Everything that can be done around a call, we support.
Great. And so I love that about NICE. They look for ways to support the call and to enhance the customer's experience, which is really important, which is what this hangout is all about. Because in a moment, we're going to talk about real-time authentication. But what I want to ask you now is that in the current process, the typical customer, when they call somebody and they get a call center agent, what is the typical process that the customer has to go through? And frankly, sometimes it's not a whole lot of fun, is it?
Yes, absolutely. If you think about what each and every one of us undergoes today when they call to one of their contact centers, regardless of the vertical, it doesn't matter if it's a banking, if it's a bank, if it's a credit card company, if it's your ISP, insurance company, etc., you have to go through a rigorous process of verifying your claimed identity. And we all know the funky questions that you may get today when you're talking with an associate on the other side of the line. Questions like, what's your mother's maiden name, the name of your last pet, where have you lived 5 years ago in Arizona, what is the last 4 digits of your social security number or credit card, etc., etc., etc. Just to give you some facts and figures, usually today, this process of asking you those security questions at the beginning of the call, even before you can even express your need today, lasts between 45 to 90 seconds per call, which is amazing. So the first minute in average of every call we do, which we initiated in order to express our problem and our need, starts with the necessary evil of an interrogation in the shape of 5 to 7 security questions, which takes around 60 seconds. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not so much that that's not fun. I mean, I said sometimes it's not fun. Where it really becomes not fun is when we get transferred to someone else and we have to do it all over again. And I just wrote an article on my blog, customerserviceblog.com, which specifically talked about a gentleman that called his cable TV provider. He just wanted to find out what channel the hockey game was on, because it was the Stanley Cup playoffs over here in the U.S. And before the agent could give him any information, the agent had to find out all types of information. And my friend said, no, you don't understand. I just want to know what the TV channel is. I'm in St. Louis. Help me here. I can't find it. And by the time the agent finished up, it was over. The last score had been goal had been scored, and game over. One of my favorite questions that one of these agents asked was what my position was on global warming as a security question. Now, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So there is a solution to all of this, isn't there, Elad?
Yes, I think there is a cure to this disease. And actually, the cure is quite simple. We believe that we have found something which I deem personally as a cookie cutter. I think that once we will talk about the solution momentarily, people would scratch their head, hopefully, and say, hey, how come we didn't think about it before? I mean, why should we wait until 2014 in order to discuss such an approach? So basically, the solution is quite simple. We have a cool technology, which is part of a bigger layer. The name is voice biometrics. And voice biometrics is all about how you, me, every person in the world has their own unique characteristics in their voice, which makes it unique. Actually, it's unique so much that a machine can actually distinguish when you pick up the phone and talk to an agent and when I pick up the phone and talk to an agent. So voice biometrics, which compares around 100 different characteristics in each and everyone's voice, is accurate enough to discern between every two speakers that you may find out there. So when you leverage voice biometrics in live conversations in real time, you can actually distinguish between, to confirm the identity of a person when he or she is calling passively. So imagine a call coming into the call center. We're no longer asking you the security questions that we're doing today at the opening part of the call, and instead of it, a call may sound something like this. Welcome to Bank X. My name is Elad. How can I help you today? And then, Shep, you go and say something like, hi, good morning. I want to check my balance or do whatever I want to do today. And as you express your desire, the system is working in the background, taking your voice, comparing it against your voiceprint, which contains your characteristics, and provides a real-time guidance to the associate. Hey, this is Shep. You're good to go. No need for security questions. Support the gentleman.
So wow. So how do I get? You mentioned the voice print. How does that? How do you get that to start with? Do I have to, I guess, register for this and talk for a couple of minutes, or how does that work?
Great question, Shep. So basically, I think that's the secret sauce, which is the foundations for all this beautiful solution. In order to use someone's voice and to authenticate them or verify them when they call, first we need to enroll them. But unlike the common procedure that is being carried out today by a handful of institutions, which is what we call active enrollment, where people have to proactively call to a dedicated phone extension and do a process where they utter a few utterances and present themselves and go through a vexing process of adding their voice into the repository. What we offer is something which we call seamless passive enrollment. And basically what we do, and I think it makes sense, we leverage the fact that you, as a customer, is already talking with the agent. And when you're talking with the agent, there's no reason in the world why we can't take the content of this conversation, take your voice, and convert it passively after the call to create your voice print. So there isn't any effort from your side and from the organization side, because we do it automatically and passively.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So just as we're talking today, in this candid conversation and nonchalant conversation, you could, if it was a call center that was using the technology, already have basically set up my future calls. So, you know, obviously the pain points are, you know, just the time that it takes to, you know, go through the process of verification and authentication, and then, you know, obviously getting transferred to someone else. And this happens all the time when I call, whether it be cable TV, bank, phone company, any of these different places where I have to call, I have to re-verify. So this is what blew me away. So we're in Las Vegas at your convention, which was called Nice Interactions, and there's probably a couple thousand people sitting in the audience, and I'm not sure if it was the CEO or the president on stage saying, okay, so how long does it take to get verified? And what they showed was before he even finished that sentence, his voice was verified as him. And he goes, okay, let's start over and ready, begin now. So good morning, how are you? And like almost automatically the voice was verified. It took anywhere from 6 maybe to 10 seconds. and it was so impressive. Is that what the typical customer is going to expect and the experience they're going to receive when they call a company that's using this technology?
Yes, Shep. So you're spot on with the figures that you provided. All we need in order to verify someone's voice once we have his voice print in the repository is between 7 to 10 seconds of customer speech audio, which translates to something like 2 sentences, 2 phrases that you say. So, you know, a general statement like, "Hi, my name is Shep, and I'm interested in checking my balance in the last 2 months," or whatever, should be sufficient. And we actually did some analysis and found out that in 70 to 80% of the calls, usually people provide enough information in order to be verified by just using their opening statement. So the technology is robust, it's accurate, it's quick, and it will definitely eliminate the need in those security questions.
And I would imagine that there's an additional set of questions that your call center reps can ask is, you know, "Hi, this is Shep Hyken. Thank you for calling. What can I help you with today?" And the person first responds by saying, "Hi, I'm, you know, Bob Smith, and I'm calling about this." And maybe an extra question might be, "So what city are you calling from today?" "Okay, great. How is it there? You know, what's the weather like?" Maybe those little questions give you the extra voice time that you need. Is that the type of thing you do?
So first of all, this is a very interesting topic, what you're raising here. First of all, if you think about it, just by removing the security part, which we do today, which, as I come to think about it, is unnatural. We do it because we have to, right? Instead of letting the customer express his need at the beginning of the call, which is the natural evolution of a call, we stop them, we pause the conversation, we interrogate them in order to verify their identity, and then we continue. So what we are doing here, if you think about it, we are reinstating the right paradigm, right? We're changing the paradigm in order to make it more natural as you would have expected it to be, unless you had to be verified by, you know, by the agent. That's one comment. As per your question about do we need those additional questions that encourage the customer to share more information so we would have enough audio, so as I've mentioned, in 70 to 80% of the cases, this is unnecessary because just the short request that you express at the beginning of the call should be sufficient. However, you would be interested to learn that agents are encouraged to ask the customer at least one, we call it social question or soft question at the beginning of the call to do what they call KYC, know your customer. So they would, you know, open a more friendly conversation, break the ice a little bit. And yes, in those scenarios, this question will equip us with a little bit more information that can help us to even provide a better confidence. Absolutely.
Right. So in a sense, you're building rapport with all of this, which I think is really cool because rather than create, I would call it an obstacle, but you know, a barrier to getting to the situation, you're actually building rapport in the process. I think it is such a win-win technology. So tell me, who else, if anybody, does this? And tell me how you came up with this. Are you the front runner? I've got a lot of questions here. If I'm running a call center, how can I implement this technology into my call center as quickly as possible? Because I think this is a phenomenal invention, if you will, that's going to just enhance the experience that the customer has with any company that decides that they're going to do this.
Yeah, so obviously, thank you for the question. So obviously, NICE being a recording recording solutions vendor for the last 28 years, since 1986, is all about call recording. So you can find us obviously in most of the call centers worldwide in all the verticals. It only made sense, you know, as a natural evolution step that we will try to augment the solutions that we provide today and include the voice biometrics technology into all that we do today in a call center. Just for the audience to understand, in all the large institutions spread out there in the US and worldwide, you'll find NICE recording. So we record all the conversations, we archive the conversations, we analyze the context of the conversations, we provide quality monitoring solutions for the quality monitoring team in the call center, which is responsible for improving the service and improving the processes. And if it's not enough, we also provide desktop solutions for the call center associates that can guide them in real time what should be the next best action for selling perspective, upsell, cross-sell, customer improvement effort, etc. If you think about those myriad of solutions that we provide today, you would understand that it only makes sense now to add the voice biometrics piece and to provide an end-to-end journey for the customers. And what we're doing here is specifically handling the authentication service hurdle, simplifying it, and making it more friendly. Just one more comment about transfer that you mentioned before. I hear you, brother. I relate to the suffering and the atrocities of you that you need to go between 1, 2, 3 agents, and every time you need to start from scratch. So the good news is that with this solution, we don't only carry out the authentication information across the call, but we also carry out the context. So there's no need in the world, if you were verified successfully by the first agent, that you will have to suffer again and be interrogated by the subsequent agent. So what we do, we actually transfer the verification result on the desktop into the next agent in line, and this agent will probably say to you something like, hey, thank you very much, Shep. I understand that you were already successfully verified. No need for that. Let's continue.
I love that. I love that. And I love some of the companies that I've been calling. I would imagine they're one of the few clients that you're not working with. One of the things that impressed me when I was at NICE Interactions is that the whole, I would say, as I listened to the general session that kicked the whole conference off and then went to some of the breakout sessions, so much of it was focused on the customer journey. And that's a big topic right now. We're not going to get into that, but it's just fascinating that that's just become one of the most important, relevant things. This is kicking off that customer's journey of the particular interaction of call center or agent support. And I just applaud you guys for enhancing that experience. I want to just ask 1 or 2 more questions. I know we're running out of time. Talk to me about the security. You talked about 100 different approaches to, I guess, digitizing or recognizing the voice. How close is it to a fingerprint? I would imagine it's probably far more difficult for me to mimic someone's voice than it is for me to get a few answers to some of the security questions that an agent might ask. So share with me the security aspect of this.
So this is probably a paramount question, and it's important that our audience would feel comfortable with the technology, because this technology is attached to crucial processes which happen in real time. So it must be accurate, and it must provide a good decisioning point in order to make sure that the customer is being successfully verified, and no one else can, for that matter, hijack their identity, right? So rest your mind assured. Actually, voice biometrics is using more comparison points, what we call modalities, than fingerprint, which is amazing. In fingerprint, you're matching 49 different comparison points in the palm of your hand, or in the finger itself. In voice biometrics, you're comparing more than 100 parameters, which is actually, I think, staggering information. One would expect that the fingerprint would be more robust. Actually, it isn't. And if you can think about it, I think it was published in the media, right, that some of the larger companies out there, I don't want to say the names, but have added to their mobiles, right, the ability to open their mobile using a fingerprint. And guess what? It didn't take long, right? 3 to 5 days after the rollout, hackers were already able to hack in through the fingerprint mechanism and open someone else's phone. Why? Because fingerprint, it's very secure, but it's still susceptible for hacking. Voice biometrics, or voiceprint, on the contrary, is a binary file that cannot be reversely engineered, cannot be hacked, cannot be played back or recorded. It's just a binary XML file which is kept in the database. And even if you were a great hacker and somehow mysteriously would be able to go through the firewalls of the security organization and steal my voiceprint, there's nothing you can do with it. You cannot play it back. You cannot introduce it. You cannot present it, you cannot open it, and you cannot mimic it. So it's much more secure even than a fingerprint.
Wow, oh, I'm feeling secure right now regarding. I think this is great, and I know that there's so many technologies that are out there today that are enhancing customer service and the customer experience, and this is just one that I think is extremely important that many of the companies and people listening to might want to consider for their own organization. So, Elad, this has been a great hangout, and thanks for sharing. I love doing these because I love learning about new things that are coming down the pike, and just it's wonderful. Any last words you'd like to share with us before we end today?
All I want to do is, first of all, to urge you to watch this hangout, which I think was great, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. And we look forward to meet you face to face, visit you around the world. If you have any questions, you can find me through a nice website. I'll be more than happy to share with you more information and anything you may be interested about. So thank you very much, Shep.
Oh, thank you, Elad. Well, I hope you enjoyed this hangout. Everybody who's watching, thank you very much. My name is Shep Hyken, and I always like to remind you to always be amazing.